Ji to speak few words before the delegates. Baroda. He is coming from Baroda Ramakrishna Mission.
Revered Swami Supurnanandaji Maharaj, Dr. Shantinath Chattopadhyay, all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, dear participants, it's a great pleasure meeting you all. At the outset, I would like to offer my humble pranams at the feet of Swami Supurnanandaji Maharaj, who invited me for this function, for this seminar, and gave me the opportunity of meeting you all. I am also thankful to Dr. Shantinath Chattopadhyay. We are all talking about peace. You know what is the word for peace? Shanti. And who could be a better person to be the center of this whole function than Dr. Shantinath Chattopadhyay? His name itself is Shanti. And the galaxy of speakers that he has brought from all over the world. And that I was expecting, there will be galaxy of speakers, but I didn't expect the bag fulls of so many books to be released here on this occasion. So I cannot give congratulations enough, and I'm very happy that this is being organized as a part of the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. You know, he was born in 1863, 12 January, as she told. So we wanted to organize the program. 150th birth anniversary, Ramakrishna Mission wanted to organize from 2013 to 2014, only 1 year. But the preparation started from 2010, and the engine was so much moving at high speed that it took 1 year for us to stop the functions. So it became a 5-year plan. And now this is, I think, the last program of 150th birth anniversary that this is be taking place. Whatever I have to tell, I reserve for the next that I have to speak at the Shivan Hall because we are getting late. But only one thing I will say: the whole world has been united as never before because of the transformation of the communication technology. Everybody has got mobile in the pocket. Fortunately, it is silent. 1 or 2 places only it's working. So the whole world has been united as never before. Because of the transformation of the communication technology, it's a global village, as they say. Globalization already come, at least on the economic front. But where is global peace? Global peace cannot come till there is a global civilization. And global civilization cannot come till we have global leaders like Swami Vivekananda, who was a global leader with a global mission and a global vision and a global blueprint for the harmony of religions. You know, in 11 September 1893, just now you heard, he delivered his historic speech in the World Hall of Religions in Chicago, at the Art Institute of Chicago. On 11 September 1893, started the Sisters and Brothers of America, and all the 7,000 people stood up and clapped for 2 minutes. Out of 5 minutes, 2 minutes went for only clapping. Only 3 minutes were left for him. Within 3 minutes, he created the world record. That speech that he gave is still remembered as one of the greatest speeches ever given by anybody in the whole world. That is the speech that he delivered in Chicago. And what did he say? He spoke about the harmony of religions. And he also gave an indirect warning that if we do not follow this message of harmony of religions, we are going to be for a great trouble. He told this on 11 September 1893. Mind you, that was also 9/11. We did listen to his message. There was another 9/11 after 108 years, and the Twin Tower broke. It's still ground zero. I went a few months back, only 2 months back, I was in New York. I was seeing that ground zero after so many years is going to be a ground zero. So it's an urgent need that we all work unitedly for peace. And so many galaxies of speakers are there. We are going to have a feast of all the speeches and a lot of discussions for so many days. I once again congratulate Dr. Shantinath Chattopadhyay for making all of us come here, join together for the peace movement. Thank you all very much.
I am also grateful to Nikhileswarananda ji, who has come from Baroda Ramakrishna Mission to exchange his view with sharing others' view, and this type of intercommunication will go on, and Vivekananda wanted it. I am again thankful to him. Now I am inviting Dr. Glenn T. Martin, who is the President of WCPA, World Constitution and Parliament Association. He is the President of IPNO, International Philosophers for Peace, and he is the Chief Patron of Isisr, International Society for Intercultural Studies and Research. And this team, joint team, working for the future to present a model before the world people with an idea who can say this type of terrorism developing in different parts of the world, Third World will not start. If it started after Third World War, what will be the model of peace, justice, and human rights? And that is to be presented by Dr. Glenn T. Martin. I am inviting Martin to speak few words.
Before I say anything, I'd like you all to please stand up. I want you to be awake so that you are listening to what I want to try to communicate to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that at this wonderful gathering, and I appreciate very much the work of Dr. Chattopadhyay and Isisr and all the dignitaries here, I think that at this wonderful gathering, it's very important to understand that peace goes beyond inner peace. We need inner peace. We need to realize God consciousness in ourselves worldwide. We need the harmony of the religions worldwide, as Vivekananda said in his speech in 1893. But the world that we live in is full of institutional structures that violate peace. It is full of institutions that prevent the Atman in us, the inner spirit in us, from coming into consciousness. They're pervasive. And there's two giant structures that pervade the planet, that pervade our planet, that are destroying our environment and threatening to destroy humanity through World War III. The first is the global economic system, a system of greed and power and exploitation that is now institutionalized in huge banking cartels and huge multinational corporations larger than some nation states, with more assets than some nation states. And under the World Trade Organization, they go together with the nation states in order to create a world which privatizes everything in the service of their private profit. This is an institution of divisiveness. It destroys the spirit. It destroys our capacity to be aware of the precious peace that is already there within us and that we can experience in our lives. This global institution was founded during the Italian Renaissance in the 15th century, and here we are 500 years later. In the 15th and 16th century, when capitalism was first developing, they had a different paradigm. They had a different concept of the nature of the world. It was atomistic and it was deterministic, and capitalism adopted that atomism. It said we all compete with one another, right? And that success economically only comes through competition, through free market where everybody's competing with one another. But ladies and gentlemen, we're all one. We're all human beings. And we need to cooperate with one another. We need to love one another. We need to care for one another and care for our precious planet and its future. Capitalism destroys our capacity to do that. We need an economic system for the people of Earth that does not result in the wealth of the Earth moving up to 1% of the population that now owns 50% of the wealth on the Earth. While the bottom 60% of the people of Earth, the people out there in the streets of Calcutta or Mumbai or Chennai or any of the other great cities, they're living in hell. They're living without resources, without adequate food, without sanitation. This is the result of 5 centuries of capitalism. When are we going to learn that we need to cooperate with one another? That's the first institution. But the second institution, almost as invisible to most people, is the system of so-called sovereign nation states. If you look at the photos that have been sent back from satellites of planet Earth, they've been sent back since 1962. Since 1962, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen this blue planet, this blue spheres floating there in space, one home for all of us, one unified world of consciousness and human intelligence everywhere on it. And yet, if you look at the political map of the world, 193 different colors with absolute boundaries. Absolute boundaries. You can't come across our boundary. I can't come to India without a visa, without permission. You can't go to the United States without a permission from them. Absolute boundaries. Building walls between Israel and Palestine. Building walls between Mexico and the United States to keep people out, to separate people. Every nation, India, the land of Mahatma Gandhi, India, the land of Mahatma Gandhi, has nuclear weapons. How could that possibly happen? And it is not the fault of the leaders of India. It's the fault of a system of sovereign nations that divides the world into 193 militarized, mostly militarized entities, each of which is pursuing its own self-interest. This system itself is almost 4 centuries old. 4 centuries, a different paradigm, a paradigm of atomism from centuries ago. But today we understand the holism of the earth. We're all one. And therefore, we need institutions that reflect that oneness. Institutions which reflect an economy designed for everybody to live well on this planet. And that is why, as my colleagues mentioned earlier today, we're holding today, beginning at 2 o'clock, the 14th session of the Provisional World Parliament, and it's held under the authority of the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. Right, this document, which is only 30 pages long in a full-size book, this is a little compact edition that we'll hand out at the Parliament. This document is a democratic world parliament and a democratic world government that disarms the nations. The nations join together like states within the United States or states within India. They join together in a federation. They don't disappear, but their boundaries become administrative boundaries, not military boundaries. It joins people together in an economic system that is dedicated to protecting everyone, protecting their rights, their dignity, and protecting our precious environment. It can serve, as Professor Chattopadhyay said, it can serve as a model, a vision of where we want to go, but also it can serve as a blueprint for how we can get there. So that's what I want to leave with you, the thought that I'd like to leave with you today, that we have a blueprint. It's been translated into 23 different languages, including Bengali. And please study it, bring it to your institutions, download it from the internet, it's there for free, and begin thinking how we can join together on this planet. All of us as citizens of the earth first, not citizens of nation states, but citizens of the earth, joining together in an earth federation that respects everybody, that ends war and establishes peace, and protects our precious planetary environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin, for delivering so much stimulating speech. I think our addresses by distinguished guests are going to be concluded, and concluding remarks with evaluation will be done by Swami Suparnanandaji, who is the president of this session.
Thank you, Professor Chatterjee. So we have been listening to these beautiful speakers, and when at the end of the last speaker's speech, or just before the penultimate speech, of course, when we were in half sleep or in half wakefulness, Dr. Martin really did the most important thing, and we woke up from our inertia and he drove home some of his ideas, beautiful ideas. He spoke on the Atman, Atma and spirit, the undying truth in us as against body and mind, which are perishable, which are of the nature of multiplicity. We are searching for oneness, and we are one in spirit, but quite different in our bodies, in our minds, in our intellects. And he said that we need institutions. We need institutions where we must have dialogues. We must develop platforms all over the world. And he is of the opinion that all the boundaries should go. We are building walls, boundaries. So one nation, one world, movement of peoples freely from one country to another is still inhibited by these walls. So when there is peace, there is one humanity, there is one nation, there is one world. We can recognize our differences as races, as individual beings, but still we will feel that we are one because our spirit is one, though we are different in bodies and mind and intellect. That is really said, Dr. Martin, it's really a fantastic idea you have developed. And Nikhileswaranandaji is as humorous as I knew him to be, and he explained the very meaning of Santinath. He is not only Santi incarnate, he is the king of Santi. He is the master of peace. Master of peace, and it is he who has taken this task up on his own shoulder. And of course, his own son has joined him. I congratulate both the father and the son, because they have really done a stupendous task by bringing the world together here at this moment. Thank you. Now, the richness of idea, and the speaker told, and that idea presupposes that we will have to be got rid of poverty, violence, of international rights. We have to get over from poor education rate, and we have to look upon everybody as our brother and sister. We have to work upon it. And some of the speakers have also stressed that issue. We have not to have a passive peace. In order to bring about peace in our society, in our minds, we have to work hard. We have to eliminate disharmony. We have to eliminate the problems, the things that are standing in the way. One speaker told also, peace is no war, peace is action, peace is service, spread education culture, and we have to feel for the next generation. We have to bequeath to our generation a beautiful world. But a world which is striped tall, which is deeply immersed in poverty, ill feeling. If they get from us this type of world, how can we say that we love our own children? We must give the best things to those whom we love. So we have to give them a beautiful world which is blessed by peace. It's a very nice thing. If you ask me to say something on my own, I would say, we know that there are problems. Most of the problems are economic. A few are social. And most of us do not bother about the spiritual problems, but I say spiritual problem is really most important one. If you can solve it, if you can get to the oneness of our existence, if we know that be the goal, then of course our whole process of living, our method of work would change. Problems would never be there if we invite the divine in our center. So there is imbalance in our economy, but in God's economy there is always balance. When we don't hold on to more than we need, we have God's economy. We don't own any jewelry or any car, for example, not because we are poor, but because we do not equate abundance with enjoyment. In fact, we cannot chase away the spectra of poverty and desire by surrounding ourselves with things. This is a state of real richness or wholeness, and in some strange sense, we are whole when we are incomplete. When we have everything, we feel we are complete. Really, we are poor. The more you have, the less you are. We want to have more in our own economy, but God has decided for us to be more, not to have more. So this is incompleteness. We crave for so many things. We feel we are incomplete. But there is real happiness, there is real joy, there is real peace. Wholeness is a state of mind when you give your time, your money, your strength to others and yet not feel diminished. You have given away somebody a huge amount as charity by doing that. If you feel you are diminished, never do that. You have to give with happiness. You have to give with a broad smile on your lips. So nothing can scare you. We have to produce such people as will feel a new kind of guilt. A new kind of guilt we have to have. What is that guilt? You have not committed anything, any mistake anywhere, any sin incurred anywhere. But simply by storing everything for yourself, by amassing wealth for yourself, even through fair means, is a guilt if you do not part with it. Others. So that way. So this is the dominating note that I observe here. We have to do something, we have to work on the principle, and we have to serve. If there be any ill feeling between two persons, let one person serve the other, and ill feeling would go. If you know that some person do not like you, you silently, remaining unknown, remaining hidden, serve the persons who do not like you. You might be working in the same office, you may be working under the same roof, but you do not know the secret of eliminating this feeling from our mind. This is the secret. You have to serve. You have to help him, but see to it that he does not know, or she does not know that your help came from you. But in the course of time, he must be knowing it. And then the miracle starts. That's it. with these few observations, I conclude. Thank you. I express my gratefulness to Swami Suparnanandaji. I was remembering two things. When Swami Lokeshwaranandaji was the secretary of this institute, he became the patron of our society, chief patron. And he wanted to organize this international conference in Institute of Culture with a condition that you will have to bring a volume on Swami Vivekananda as a global peace thinker. I tried to do it, but very much unfortunate I am, and we are, that within 1 month he left us forever. And what to do? I was moving hither and thither. At that time the new secretary came. It is a fact in the in the administration process, the successor will not follow the predecessors. And finally we organized it in cultivation of science. I remember it. And Ranganathananda was the then president. When we published the volume, Swami Vivekananda, his global vision, Ranganathananda wrote a very big article on this program. And he invited us, perhaps Murphy can remember, in Belur Mott to release this volume. We went there and this volume was released. And two monks, Nikeshwaranandaji and Suparnanandaji, both have interpreted my name for Shanti, for peace. But sometimes media people write Shanti Ranjan, Shanti Moy, etc. But my name is Shanti Nath. It is of Lord Shiva, Shantinath Shiva, praying to her. I came through my parents. And he is telling Master of Peace in China two things. China told that we cannot utter this Shantinath Chattopadhyay. They gave a name, Peace King. And then for Europeans, I was used to write Chatterjee, Shantinath Chatterjee. Lokeshwarananda, I was delivering Kasi Shoudamini lecture, memorial lecture, and it was published in Bulletin. He wrote Abolishing Chatterjee, Shantinath Chattopadhyay, and called me. What do you say? Shall I write Gadadhar Chatterjee? The name of Ramakrishna in his previous life was Gadadhar Chattopadhyay. He told, we write it. You are traditional Brahmin. Chatterjee, Banerjee, these are acquired by affidavit. But you are an original Brahmin, traditional family. You don't write Chatterjee, always write Chattopadhyay. So I remember when they were interpreting my name, I remember these things, I communicate to you. Now it is the last program, that is, Maharaj has not done it. I request Maharaj and Handelman to, he is ready. Maharaj will declare that World Thinkers and Writers Peace Meet is open. Then she will beat the drum.
You say that you declare open. So we shall open with our national anthem, and before that vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks will be given by my friend and Secretary of Isisr, Professor Maninglal Bandyopadhyay. I give you some announcements. You see, from 2 to 3:40 p.m., there will be 3 sessions. In Turiyananda Hall, World Parliament session, and in Sivananda Hall, paper discussion session, and in the Premananda Hall, writers and poets meet session. And after that, at 3:40, you come to Sivananda Hall. There will be a special symposium on Vivekananda's vision of religion, education, and cultural harmony. Suparnanandaji will preside over it, and Nikhileshwaranandaji and others will be a distinguished guest speaker on the theme. You are welcome there, and before that there is a lunch break. I also request 2 Swamijis, please with us and take lunch. Oh, he does not want to take that lunch because he is very much busy. Oh, it's okay. Okay. Vote of thanks. Tomorrow there will be the session from 10 a.m. 10 a.m. To 1 p.m. Special session on education organized by Saman Prasad College, Department of Education, B.R. Ambedkar College, Institutes of Education, and some other institutions. And I request Suparnanandaji to be with us. Dr. Murphy is one of the guests there, and Madhuka has not reached. If he comes, he will be there. And in Turiyananda Hall, Parliament session will go on, and in the Premananda Hall, that is second floor, upstairs, writers and poets meet session. I am inviting Professor Maninglal Bandyopadhyay to give vote of thanks.
Revered President Maharaj Suparnanandaji, Honorable Nikhileshwaranandaji, respected dignitaries on the podium, distinguished delegates and other peace lovers and peacemakers in the auditorium. It is my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the International Society for Intercultural Studies and Research, Kolkata, to warmly welcome and greet you for your participation in this World Thinkers and Writers Meet 2015. We, on behalf of Isisr, extend our sincere thanks to Swami Suparnanandaji, Secretary, Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, who is not only the president of this session, but also our patron, our guide and guardian, to whom we are extremely beholden for his inspiring cooperation. We are similarly happy to thank the dignitaries on the dais, including Dr. Glenn T. Martin, Honorable Guest-in-Chief, Dr. Patricia Murphy, Honorable
our special guest, Mr. Rajiv Umrao, the Deputy Postmaster General, Professor Chaturvedi is not present, Ms. Eugenia Amand, General Secretary General, WCPA, Mrs. I.O. Aula, absent, she perhaps as well. She will be reaching tonight. Dr. Fikshai Tohibich, a great scholar and writer of Thailand and Vice President WPCA, Mrs. Hanita Caroline Handelman, writer from Israel, Mrs. Farheen Chaudhary, also a writer from Pakistan, absent now, Muhammad Nurul Huda, poet from West Bengal, west of Bangladesh, and Mrs. Saraswati Devi from Malaysia, and Darbeshi Sultan from Iran. Thanks are also extended to the distinguished delegates from the different countries of the world and India, and to those who have contributed to the journal Culture and Quest. Members of the media are equally thanked for their laudable efforts to disseminate the news and message of the conference. We also thank the advertisers, the donors, the publishers, and other organizations and persons who have helped our objective in different ways. Thanks are also offered to the monk fraternity of the Institute of Culture and the members of the staff who spared no pains to make the meet a success. Above all, we profusely thank Ramakrishna Mission in general and the Institute of Culture in particular for their unstinted support and assistance, but for which this conference could never have come to a reality. In fine, I invoke the Lord Almighty to bless us with inspiration and the courage of conviction to realize our mission of harmony and peace in the violence-stricken world. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Manik Babu. I express my heartfelt gratefulness to Suparnanandaji because he has fulfilled the desire of Lokeshwaranandaji. I shall not forget his contribution in organizing this program. You will see 1 to 1:30 lunch break in the ground floor. After that, you will visit the museum. Every day it is written, you will visit there was a big art and painting competition. About 300 artists from 7 years to 30 years, they joined here and they are selected first, second, third in each group. That will be done in the validated session. But you must visit museum and bookstore. And at the same time, by the side Sivananda Hall, there will be a session that will be organized by Gauriya Nitya School of Rabindra Bharati and other music, Tansen, Kala, Samaj, etc. Here, among several persons, Dr. Murphy is included as special guest. And Martin will be in the World Parliament session, and there I shall also go, and there Alexander Thomas Justice and Chitatuj Mukherjee, Ashok Kumar Ghosh, Farhad Darwesh Sadlani, all are welcome there, and who are interested to see hear the World Parliament's view may join the session. that will be in the Turiyananda Hall. And poetry peace meet session in the Premananda Hall, I have told you. Now we shall stand and conclude the inaugural session by our national anthem. You may sing with us.
I just utter the translation by Rabindranath Tagore and few words written by Miss Eugenia Almond, who found that it is not national anthem, this is international anthem. Tagore writes, "Thou art the ruler of the minds of all people, dispenser of India's destiny. The name rouses the hearts of Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat and Maratha, of the Dravida and Orissa and Bengal. It echoes in the hills of the Vindhyas and Himalayas, mingles in the music of Jamuna and Ganges, and is chanted by the waves of the Indian Sea. They pray for thy blessings and sing thy praise. The saving of all people waits in the hand. Thou dispenser of India's destiny, victory, victory, victory to thee." And Miss Eugenia Almond just raises a question. Each time I hear and sing this song, the question arises in my mind. What is that name, the word Tobo Shubho Name Jagi? What is that name which is chanted by the waves of the Indian Sea? Surely it is the same name as that sung by the Atlantic, the Pacific, and even the Arctic Ocean. And you have to actually listen to the waves of the sea or the waves of a river to get the full significance of this. The exact sound is never remaining constant, yet the quality of living, moving water is there in each case. This is the blessing of unity in diversity, which is not fighting against the spirit of the earth, but rather moving with the spirit. It is deeply gladdening that the anthem is not belligerent, not bellicose, but reflects an obeisance of our Mother Earth and to natural wonder. जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल जमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Inaugural session is over. You go to take lunch.